Once upon a time, there was a delicious plate of pasta, the kind of food everyone loves, but for those with diabetes, it was considered almost like a villain. We often hear that it should be avoided at all costs because it's said to make blood sugar soar, like an arrow hitting its target. But what if I told you that, with the right choices, you can enjoy a tasty plate of pasta without the fear of harming your health? In today's video, I'll show you that not only is it possible to enjoy a good pasta dish, but it's also simple to do so in a balanced, blood sugar-friendly way. Let's discover together how to choose the right pasta, the proper portion for you, and even what to add to your dish to keep your blood sugar under control without losing flavor. First, it's important to understand that for people with diabetes, it's not just about the amount of pasta, but also about how the carbohydrates are distributed throughout the meal. Let's start with the basics. A safe portion for those who need to control their blood sugar is about 15 grams of carbohydrates, roughly 1/3 of a cup of cooked pasta. And then you might ask, how much pasta can I eat? Well, the answer depends a lot on you and your body. Each person has their own needs, and your nutritionist will help you find the right balance. They'll guide you on how many portions of carbohydrates you can include in each meal to ensure your blood sugar stays at the right level. Now, the next step: the type of pasta you choose. Do you know that traditional white pasta, made from refined flour? While delicious, it has a secret that not everyone knows. Its carbohydrates are digested quickly by the body, causing blood sugar to spike almost as quickly as water boils in a pot. But here's some good news. There's a more body-friendly alternative: whole wheat pasta. This pasta is made from whole flour, which contains much more fiber. The fiber acts like a safety net, preventing blood sugar from rising too quickly. When you eat whole wheat pasta, the sugar is released more slowly, helping keep blood sugar levels more balanced. With these choices, pasta doesn't have to be the villain of the story. With a little attention to the type of pasta and the right portion, you can still enjoy this delicious dish while taking care of your health. Instead of avoiding pasta, you can learn to prepare it smartly, making it work in your favor. And the best part? You can eat without guilt. Picture this: you're in the kitchen, preparing that delicious plate of pasta you love. But contrary to what many believe, the secret isn't just in the type of pasta you choose, but also in how you cook it. And who would have thought that the trick to keeping blood sugar in check could be in the way you cook? Let's start with an important detail: the texture of the pasta. Have you ever heard of al dente pasta? The kind with a slight firmness? Well, that's the secret. When pasta is cooked this way, the body takes longer to digest it. This extra time helps keep blood sugar under control by releasing sugar more slowly. Now, imagine the opposite. Overcooked pasta loses much of its fiber, and as a result, sugar enters the bloodstream faster, which might not be ideal for those needing to control blood sugar. But wait, there's more. If you're preparing a pasta salad, here's a master trick. Let the pasta cool down. It sounds simple, but this small gesture changes everything. When pasta cools, it forms a substance called resistant starch. And what does that mean? This starch is harder for the body to digest, helping slow down sugar absorption, making the impact on blood sugar much lower. Believe it, the temperature of the pasta matters. And, of course, we can't forget what you put on the plate. Let's imagine you add a good amount of vegetables, full of fiber, and a protein source, like chicken or tofu. It's like a party on your plate. The fiber from the vegetables and the proteins make it take longer for your body to break down the carbohydrates, releasing sugar gradually, without big spikes. In other words, it's like having an extra helper to process the pasta more efficiently and smoothly. Now, let's move on to the final strategy: the order of foods. It might sound curious, but what you eat first makes a difference. Nutritionists recommend starting with vegetables, which are rich in fiber. Then, move to the protein and only last the pasta. It may sound simple, but this order helps slow down carbohydrate absorption, making the impact on blood sugar much smoother. So, the next time you want to enjoy that plate of pasta, remember these tricks and tips. The secret is in the details: how you cook it, what you put with it, and even the order in which you eat. With these small changes, you can continue enjoying your favorite dish in a balanced way, without worrying so much about blood sugar. Imagine you're sitting at the table, looking at that warm plate of pasta, with that delicious smell filling the air. You feel like savoring every bite, but if you have diabetes, you've probably heard someone say, pasta is dangerous, right? It'll make your blood sugar spike, they say. But is that really true? The truth is, yes, pasta can be friendlier than it seems, and it all depends on the choices you make when preparing the meal. The secret begins with the choice of flour, which is like the base of this traditional recipe. Let's take a look at white flour pasta, the classic traditional pasta. It's made from refined flour, which has lost most of its natural fiber during processing. And do you know what fiber does? It's like a brake for carbohydrates, helping to release them slowly and steadily into your body. But with white pasta, with so little fiber, digestion happens quickly, and blood sugar spikes like a roller coaster, with high and fast peaks, which can be hard to control for those with diabetes. Now, imagine a smarter alternative. Whole wheat pasta. Unlike white pasta, it's made from whole grains, which retain most of the fiber and nutrients. These fibers act like little barriers the body has to overcome to digest the carbohydrates. In other words, when you eat whole wheat pasta, the body takes longer to break down the carbohydrates, and blood sugar rises more slowly, as if it were taking a peaceful walk instead of running at full speed. This difference makes all the difference for those needing to control blood sugar levels, because avoiding those quick peaks is essential to keeping everything under control. So the next time you face a plate of pasta, remember that the type of pasta you choose can transform the meal from a villain to an ally. The secret is to give your body the chance to digest the carbohydrates slowly and without rushing. And with that, pasta can be enjoyed in a safer, more balanced way, without sending your blood sugar through the roof. Imagine yourself sitting at the table, looking at a plate of pasta, full of sauce and that delicious aroma filling the air. If you have diabetes, you may have already heard that pasta is an enemy to blood sugar. But what if I told you that the way you prepare it can transform this dish into a true ally? Let's explore together how the type of pasta and even the way you cook it can make all the difference for your body. First, let's talk about how to cook it. Have you ever heard of al dente pasta? That means it's a little firmer, not so soft. When you cook pasta this way, your body takes longer to digest it, helping to prevent a quick sugar spike, like a roller coaster. Now, if you let the pasta cook too long, until it's really soft, the body absorbs the carbohydrates faster, which can cause a quicker sugar increase that's harder to control. So, by choosing al dente pasta, you help your body process everything slowly, without rushing. But what if I told you there's an even more interesting trick? Cold pasta. Yes, you can cook the pasta and then let it cool. Who can resist a good pasta salad? When it cools, the pasta forms something called resistant starch, a substance that your body takes longer to digest. This means that eating cold pasta has much less impact on blood sugar. Ever thought about using leftover pasta the next day? Well, that can be a great option. But the secret isn't just in the type and cooking method of the pasta. What you put with it matters too. How about adding fresh vegetables, like broccoli or tomatoes, and a protein source like grilled chicken or tofu? These ingredients are like powerful allies. The fiber from the vegetables and the protein help slow down the digestion of carbohydrates, releasing sugar more slowly into the bloodstream. Imagine slowing down a race into a calm walk. This effect is perfect for those who need to control their blood sugar. And to top it off, here's a trick that could be a real game changer. The order in which you eat your food. Sounds simple, but it makes all the difference. Starting your meal with fiber-rich vegetables, then moving on to the protein, and finally the pasta can help keep your blood sugar steady. The fiber and protein help prepare your body for the carbohydrates, making the absorption of sugar smoother and more controlled. See how it's possible to enjoy pasta safely and deliciously? You don't have to say goodbye to the dish you love. With the right choices and a little strategy, pasta can be part of your diet without compromising your health. And, of course, always consult your nutritionist to ensure everything is balanced and healthy for your body. The secret is in the balance, and in the pleasure of eating without worries. Imagine yourself in the kitchen, the sound of water boiling in the pot, and the delicious aroma of pasta filling the room. You're preparing a simple dish, but if you have diabetes, you know there are some tricks that make all the difference in keeping your blood sugar in check. And believe me, the size and cooking method of the pasta are two of these powerful tricks. Let's start with the shape of the pasta. Have you noticed that when you savor a plate of spaghetti, you tend to feel more satisfied than with penne or fusilli? It might seem like a simple difference, but it actually has to do with how the pasta interacts with your body. Studies show that long pastas, like spaghetti and fettuccine, have a lower glycemic index compared to shorter pastas like penne or the famous alphabet pasta. And what does that mean? The glycemic index is like a score of foods that indicates how much they affect blood sugar. The lower the number, the better it is for blood sugar control. So, why does the shape of pasta matter so much? Well, the explanation lies in how the body processes these two types of pasta. Spaghetti, being long and thin, takes longer to break down during digestion. This extra time means carbohydrates are absorbed more slowly, helping keep blood sugar stable and avoiding quick spikes. On the other hand, shorter pastas like penne are broken down more easily, allowing sugar to be released faster into the bloodstream. It might seem like a small detail, but this choice can really make a big difference in controlling blood sugar. Now, let's talk about another crucial aspect: cooking time. Have you noticed how cooking time can transform pasta? If you leave pasta in the pot for too long, it becomes softer, but it also becomes easier to digest quickly. And that's what raises the glycemic index. The more cooked the pasta is, the faster the body releases sugar into the bloodstream, which can be a challenge for those controlling blood sugar. However, if you cook pasta al dente, meaning leaving it a little firmer, it will maintain its structure, and the body will take longer to digest it. This means a slower release of carbohydrates and, consequently, a smaller impact on blood sugar. So by cooking pasta al dente, you're creating a smart strategy to control the effects of the dish on your body. These small but important details, the type of pasta and the cooking method, can turn a simple pasta dish into a more diabetes-friendly meal. With the right choices, pasta can be a delicious part of a balanced and healthy diet, without compromising blood sugar control. Imagine yourself in the kitchen, the delightful smell of pasta starting to fill the air. The water in the pot is boiling, and you can already feel the anticipation of savoring that meal that many consider a forbidden pleasure for those with diabetes. But what if I told you that, with some smart choices, you can transform this dish into an ally for your health? Yes, it's possible. Let's see how. First, imagine you're looking at two types of pasta. The traditional one made with refined white flour, and whole wheat pasta, made with whole wheat. White pasta, being made with refined flour, loses many of the natural fibers that help control glucose absorption. With it, carbohydrates enter the bloodstream quickly, and glucose rises fast, which can be a problem. Now, look at whole wheat pasta. It's made with the whole grain, preserving the fibers that act as a natural barrier. This makes your body take more time to digest the carbohydrates, releasing glucose more slowly. The result, a much smaller impact on blood sugar levels, which is great news for those who need to maintain control. Now, let's talk about the cooking method. When you cook pasta al dente, that perfect point, firm to the bite, you're giving your body a little extra help. Al dente pasta, being firmer, takes longer to digest. This causes glucose to be released more gradually, preventing the quick spike that can happen when pasta is overcooked and becomes softer and easier to digest. By opting for this technique, you're choosing a slower and more controlled path for blood sugar absorption. And what happens when you decide to make a cold pasta salad, for example? Here's an amazing tip. When pasta cools down, it forms something called resistant starch. This starch acts like extra fiber and slows down the digestion of carbohydrates, making glucose release even slower. What seemed like a simple pasta salad transforms into an even more glucose-friendly meal. But what about the sides? Well, when you add fresh vegetables and a protein source, like chicken or tofu, to your pasta dish, you're creating the perfect balance. The fiber from the vegetables and the proteins help to further slow down the digestion of carbohydrates, making the impact on glucose even smoother. These ingredients act like a support team, helping to absorb glucose gradually, without rushing. Imagine you're in the kitchen, preparing your pasta dish. The delicious aroma starts to fill the air, and you can almost taste the texture of the pasta on your palate. But instead of opting for traditional pasta, you decide to give something new, more nutritious, and full of health benefits a chance. What if I told you that pasta made from chickpeas or lentils could completely transform your meal and your glucose control? These types of pasta aren't just different, they're a real surprise. They're rich in fiber and protein, much more than conventional wheat pasta. And you know what that means? The fiber and protein help slow down the digestion of carbohydrates, resulting in a smoother, more controlled release of glucose into the blood. It's like a calm wave, guiding your body to absorb glucose gradually, without big spikes. But of course, nothing comes without a small detail to consider. These pastas may have a bit more carbohydrates than traditional ones. So, the portion needs to be adjusted. While regular pasta allows a 1/3 cup serving for about 15 grams of carbs, chickpea or lentil pasta requires a slightly smaller portion, about 1/4 cup. But don't worry, this small difference makes all the difference in keeping your glucose in check. Now that you know how to choose the ideal pasta and adjust the portions, it's time to add the final touch to your dish. How about adding colorful vegetables like broccoli, tomatoes, and spinach. These vegetables are rich in fiber and will help control the sugar release into your blood. But there's more. Add a protein, like grilled chicken or even chickpeas, and finish with a touch of healthy fat, like olive oil or avocado. These ingredients act as a natural barrier, further slowing down the digestion of carbohydrates and ensuring a smaller impact on glucose levels. Subscribe to the channel.